Cross Rhythms is at Creation Fest, and people equate Creation Fest with music, but it's more than just music. It's about all the creative arts. And I'm delighted to have Kerrie with me, Kerrie Clarke, who is a prophetic artist. Now, Kerrie, this is your stand. There's some of your artwork here. Tell me what it is to be a prophetic artist.
Okay, so my journey started when I was worshipping in church one day, and I suddenly started getting a picture building in my head whilst my eyes were closed. I didn't understand it at the time, but the picture just kept growing and growing, and as I prayed more and more on it, it became clearer and clearer. And the need to go home and paint it also grew. I went home and painted it. And then from then on, they've just kept appearing in my head. And
so spontaneous, very spontaneous. So you feel like the Spirit is speaking to you directly through the art.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I just get the image. I don't get any interpretation for it. Sometimes that comes when I'm painting it. Other times it comes when somebody looks at it and they apply their story to it.
I guess it's the same with poetry or music or any form of art, really. It's in the eye of the beholder. It's what you interpret it to be by looking at it or hearing it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, I mean, this painting over here, for instance, that you see the lion over in the corner there. There's a valley below, and the rays of light coming down from it. What would that say to you? I think I know what it says to me. What does it say to you?
Okay, so this one is called Traverse, and it's basically the lion represents Jesus in spirit form.
Right.
And there's Calvary in the distance, and it shows that Jesus has crossed the mountains and the valleys. He's made those journeys for us so that we don't have to, as long as we continue following in his path. Then,
For me, the valley signifies some kind of, a low in your life, but the light is still shining down onto it, and God is overseeing you even through that darkest valley. It's like going through the valley of the shadow of death.
Yeah.
And you've got other paintings here as well. This one here is a very visual one. Both of them are, in fact. And is this something to do with kintsugi, is it? Which is the Japanese art of something or other?
Yeah. So in the Japanese art of kintsugi, when a ceramic pot's been smashed, the artist will put them back together and fill those cracks with a gold paint to make it into something more beautiful than it ever was before. And with these paintings with the hands in particular, it symbolizes how it's called kintsugi scars, and how our scars can be healed by Jesus's blood, and not only healed, they can be turned into something beautiful. So somebody who has suffered trauma in the past can be used by God in the future to do something even more beautiful with their life.
Which leads me on to talking about your actual faith journey. Tell us about how you came to faith and what that means to this particular ministry now of art and prophecy.
Okay. I've kind of been a slow burner. I came to know God when I was about 19, when I first met my husband. I just came along because I was curious. There was no light bulb moment. I just started believing. But it's only been in the last 2 years that I've always enjoyed art. I've never had a purpose to do it. And then the two came together with my faith and the art. Now I feel I have a purpose. And my faith has grown as a result of doing the art as well.
What would you say to people who are listening now? People who might, I mentioned earlier on about going into kind of a valley of depression or a valley of the shadow of death, I called it, which is dramatic, but that's actually in Psalms, isn't it? What would you say to people who might be going through a really difficult time right now, that kind of valley experience?
Look, God is with you, whether you're in the highs of your life or the lows of your life. God is always with you. He might be allowing you to go through those lows because he can see the bigger picture, and in the future you can use those lows and any trauma you go through to help others in the future. And we may not be able to see it, but he can, and we need to just trust that he is there with us.
One final question for you, Kerrie. What do you hope to achieve with this kind of ministry? It's not it's quite unique, isn't it, really? There's not many people that do this. I can count on the fingers of one hand, probably, the people I know that actually do this kind of ministry. What is it you're trying to achieve?
Okay, so I've learned a few lessons doing this over the last couple of years. because my confidence is very low. I really struggle with my confidence. I made a promise to God about 2 years ago that if opportunities came up and if he allowed me a platform for the art and the images that he puts in my mind, that I would just say yes and I would go for it, and that I would wait to see what happens as a result. And as a result, I've had many stories of validation where my art has touched people's lives because all the puzzle pieces have come together and somebody else's story has interlinked with the image that I've created, and it's taken on a whole new meaning for them. And that's what I love to see, how the images speak to people and how God is able to convey a message through the artwork.
Excellent. Thank you, Kerrie Clarke, for that. Have a great Creation Fest. Thank you.
Thank you very much.